we're picking up a giant today. We couldn't officially say that till now, but we are picking up a giant. We're going to hold you in suspense just a little longer as to which giant it is, but we're going to get the trailer prepped before we go pick it up.
Hey, it's Michael here at reGiant. Recently we had the exciting opportunity to help save the Gemini Giant that had went up for auction. The Joliet Historical Museum reached out to us for our expertise on the takedown and transportation of the Giant. But before we get into all that, let's get a little history on the Giant from Joel over at American Giants.
Hey, this is Joel with American Giants, just to talk to you a little bit about the Spaceman versions that International Fiberglass made. So they were making the Bunions and the Cowboys and the Pirates and all these different versions. And International Fiberglass was always paying attention to what was going on and what other models they could make that would help sell, that business owners would want to buy, that were relevant to the times and would attract customers. And so that's where the Spacemen came in. You know, keep in mind this is mid-60s, we're in the space race. And so a lot of things were commercially space-driven at the time. I mean, you could buy just about anything you wanted that had a space theme. Lunch boxes and food and whatever. And so they were like, well, why don't we make a space mufflerman? A few altercations and you've got a spaceman. And so they basically made this space helmet. And they started churning out these spacemen. Demand wasn't too high, though. You know, they sold one to a gas station in California. They sold one to Coney Island amusement park. They took one to a restaurant convention in the mid-60s. And this is where John and Bernice Corlick show up. And they basically saw this guy and thought, oh, that would be cool for our Wilmington, Illinois restaurant. So John and Bernice get back to Illinois, and they had a small dairy shop there, and they relocated and renamed their shop to go along with their spacemen and the space theme. And so they now called it the Launching Pad, and they set up their Giant that had a big space helmet, and everything was space themed now. And a local girl in a local school, they had a contest, and she won the contest and named the Giant the Gemini Giant. And they had a rocket made locally, and so started the life of the Gemini Giant. And it went on to become the most popular and well-known muffler man that's out there. Today it's an icon of Route 66, the most famous muffler man that stands on Route 66 and anywhere in the country, actually.
That was some interesting information. Thanks, Joel. So the morning of the auction, the crew and I head north to Wilmington. Monitoring the auction as we went, keeping tabs on the price as it kept climbing and climbing.
5, 4, 3, 275.
Are you kidding me? 275?
275.
Now the big question. Did the Joliet Historical Museum actually win? They did. Now we are full green light to go save this giant's life. Well, that is as soon as the paperwork's done anyways.
Today is the day. The Gemini Giant has sold, and we are here to take it down. This is our first hands-on ever experience with the Gemini, so we just found out how it's mounted, how it looks, getting some equipment brought in. It's a big deal. This guy's been here forever, and it's coming down today. We're very thankful that we're the ones that are able to help take it down. So come along for the ride. Not only are we taking this down, but we're partnered with the city Public Works. So we got all the guys here. Hopefully it'll make this quick.
The process of taking the Gemini Giant off his pedestal first starts by hooking up the rigging. Bring in a telehandler, hook the straps to the 2 eye bolts in his shoulders. Then, cut the feet free. 4 bolts holding the feet down. 2 were already broken free. Then, get the other 2 cut off.
It's free, so is it? Feet are free, so hopefully this guy will lift off. We'll see.
Now the process that everybody is holding their breath for, and that is the lifting of the Giant. Will he hold together? Will he fall apart? We don't even know what's inside him. We start lifting him really slowly until we hear that sound that we don't like to hear. sound of fiberglass starting to take resistance. We stop, start inspecting what the problem is. Finding out that there is an I-beam stretched from one side of his waist to the other side. We have now hit that I-beam. Now how do you get the I-beam out? How do we break it free?
This one here is like barely hanging on because like the C's been split once before and then they went in and like tried to re-weld it.
After much investigation of looking up the leg and trying to figure out what was going on, we found that one side of the I-beam was weakened. So, first option to try to see if we can break that I-beam free is to cut the pipe on one side to see if the I-beam will drop, pulling on the weight, breaking it from the other pipe.
Start with that because even if we have to lower down and tear it apart, that's not going to hurt that being out of there. So I think if we cut that one off up as high as we can.
Here's where Wilmington's Public Works Department really was able to step in and help us. They had the tools to cut the pipe, and once we cut the pipe, we found out that even though that it's hanging on the weight, I-beam's still not breaking free. Then it's a matter of what's next. We tried everything to figure out what's the best option, till finally it clicked.
Cut that bottom pipe, that other side, cut that pipe out of the way, and then try to spin him and break that weld on the pipe. That sounds maybe like the best option.
So the guys start twisting it back and forth, as some of us keep an eye up in the leg to make sure it breaks off. Sure enough, it breaks. Now, keep going up, making sure that the Giant clears all obstacles as it comes off the pipe. Now that the Giant's in the air, it's time to bring him back to Earth. Bringing him back so we can put him on the trailer for transport.
Well, he's on the trailer. A little leery here and there, but we got her. He's on the trailer.
Hi, man. Good work, dude. Thank you so much.
Those two then. We're gonna get him strapped down and then get out of here.
One of the really cool parts after we had the Giant down and on the trailer was actually when we left. When we pulled out of the launching pad, we had a full police escort, and driving down through town, people non-stop taking pictures. Car after car after car after car taking pictures. It was really neat to see how much this Giant was loved in Wilmington and will continue to be loved when he goes back up. So one thing that nobody got to see is once we had him in his temporary home, is us actually taking the rest of the internal structure out of him. This includes me crawling up the leg and getting the tools passed up and then cutting off the rest of the internal structure so we could remove it so it wasn't weighing him down. So now the Giant is in his temporary home awaiting the next phase of his life. It was a great day for the reGiant team. Early, long day, but very fulfilling. We're glad to be able to assist the City of Wilmington and the Joliet Historical Museum. And shout out to the Public Works team in Wilmington for all their help. Great team of guys, glad to work with them. Until next time, see you next video.